Hello, adventurers. Mike Dooley here. Time for another spiritual tune-up. And this one, like all of my topics, came from you. Post below on Facebook or Instagram your question. Share and engage the whole video long. That really makes my day and gets the circulation out there. And fasten your seatbelts, because here's a topic that probably has resonance with 97% of the people. How to feel better about birthdays and aging. Okay, this is something I wrestle with to this day. I'm not proud to say. For those 3% of you out there that are just cool and happy with where you're at, thank you for being a model to the rest of us. For the 97%, here's what I do. It's a work in progress. I'm 59 years old. I have a 6-year-old daughter, my only child, and I think all the time about, me getting older and she's so young and things like that. And it's like, wow, okay. So here's what I do. It really helps me. It puts things in perspective. I begin with a realization that all angst, all anxiety, 100%, whether this topic or others, stems from you eating the forbidden fruit and not realizing that you're everywhere, always at once, a God particle, God Almighty come alive in the dream of life. We fall in love with the illusions. We try to micromanage them, and we use them to define who we are, where we are, the progress we're making or the progress we're not making. And then we tag along with a primitive society that creates expectations out of bogus thoughts that you only live once. This is who you are. You only get one chance. A bunch of lies, a bunch of inaccuracies, and they want you to follow a certain path. They want you to get married at a certain age. They want you to have a certain number of kids. They want you to have a certain orientation. They want you to have a certain skin color. They want you to have, everybody's being misled by the illusions and not going within and finding their own divinity. They don't see it elsewhere. And they draw these conclusions that create all this angst. And you're getting older and you haven't achieved this and you haven't gone there and you haven't done the other. It's like, what we all need is a heavy dose of truth. Okay, 3 things here. I'm going to elaborate on each in just a moment. Number 1, there are no supposed tos in life. Number 2, where you've been is awesome. Number 3, you are so much more right now than who you think you are. That you're blowing it out of proportion, that this is all I've got and this is who I am and the clock is ticking and oh my God, anybody would freak out over that. So each of those points, let me put some legs under the table, okay? No supposed tos. It's been said by many, my mother used to say it all the time, comparisons are odious. It's also been said that comparisons are the thief of joy. Both are spot on. Don't take the bait. There will always be somebody, if not millions or billions, who seem to have it more together than you. It's not true. You are God's only chance to be who you are. This is a fleeting, precious opportunity. God didn't want to be a typical white dude or anything else, so many kids in a certain age. It's like God only experiments with infinite possibilities, and each one of us is one of those sparks of hope and possibilities, and we are more than that. So do not compare. Because you haven't done something yet doesn't mean you're supposed to do it, and because you haven't done something yet doesn't mean you won't. Look at me, I got married when I was 50 years old. Number 2, where you've been is awesome. Okay. Your life has unfolded in such a perfect way. When I feel like, oh man, I'm so old, look at the gifts it gives you. Look at the mileage under my feet. Look at the places I've visited. Look at the people I've known. Look at the relationships I've had. Look at the highs and look at the lows. That creates such a foundation of stability that things can only get better. The best of your life is now beginning today. And it's a good thing you didn't do those things you wished you had done 10 years, 20 years, 30 years ago, because they wouldn't have gone as good as they can go now. And granted, okay, if you're 95 years old, you're not about to start having a family. But you are ready to have happiness. You are ready for joy. You can improve your health. You can improve your finances. I mean, don't be defining yourself by what you can't do. Define yourself by what you can do. And you're going to need 10 million lives to just make that list as accurate as possible, because there are an infinite number of things you can do with the rest and best of your life right today. So don't define your life by what you can't do. Define it by what you can do. And once you make that list, 5 or 10 sexy items long, then start doing them. Okay, so where you've been is awesome. You have set the stage for the best of your life. There's been no mistakes. There's been no accidents. Now, the third point, you are so much more than who you think you are. We over-identify with the body. You are an internal being of light, a gladiator of love and joy, and you came here just to taste it. Meanwhile, you are simultaneously in an infinite number of other realms, and there are an infinite number of parallel universes, so that there are an infinite number of Mike Dooleys, and fill in your name here. Life is not what it appears to be. Don't use your physical senses to pass judgment on where you are, where you're headed. The past holds no bearing to the future, and your physical senses cannot see the magnificence of your multi-dimensional essence. You are everywhere, you are always, you are at once, and now may be the time to start experiencing some altered states. I'm not talking about any drugs, but just go within, reflect, ask big questions, and start cruising through time and space and going beyond. You already do it in the sleep state. I'm starting to do it in the waking state. There's so much there. So don't be comparing yourself to anybody else. They can't know. You can't know. You are precious. You are special. And then one final trace thought, which is a little bit wonky, but we think this is our one and only chance to do whatever it is you now want to do. It could well be that you crafted the stage of your life today as it is, with the probabilities as they are, because in the last 12,614 lives, you did have 2.3 kids. You were married to your childhood sweetheart. You did make $1 million, dineros or pebbles or bam bams. Okay, so it's like, don't compare. You've been there and you have forever. It's not a clock that's running out. Time is your friend. Time is on your side. Where you are is the right place. Bloom where you're planted. Celebrate your age. I feel even better. I can't wait till next year when I turn 60. It's going to be like no kind of 60 anybody has ever seen before. I love my life. I love my age. I love my wisdom. I love my life. I love my daughter. I love you for letting me preach like I do. So have an amazing day, you young whippersnappers. You are all indeed spring chickens. Bye, Patricia, Kathy, Jane, Dana, Mark. Adios.